What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another SandStorm Meetup. Today we have a amazing show for you guys. We are joined by the team over at Recur. How are you guys doing today?
Awesome. Awesome. How are you, Sharp?
I'm doing great. I'm really excited for this. You guys got a lot of stuff going on. I think it's going to be a great show, and I really do appreciate you guys coming on.
Yeah, happy to be here. Thanks for inviting.
I usually like to start out with a little bit of introduction, let the viewers kind of get to know you guys. I guess really, what got you guys into Web3, and I guess what role you play on the Recur team.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I guess I can kick us off. So, I'm Matt Armstrong. I'm the community operations team lead here at Recur. So I oversee all of our community implementation, also work with our social and some of our partnerships. And then my background's just been in community for years and years, from small grassroots communities I built myself all the way up to enterprise level communities of, millions of individuals for corporations. But always kind of a degen in between then and now, kind of secretly until I did this full time.
Awesome.
Yeah, and I'm EdXRex or ErixRex, doesn't matter how you pronounce it. But let's see, I'm the VP of product at Recur on the platform side. So working on a lot of the technology infrastructure, payment flows, how money moves throughout the system, ways that NFTs can move off chain and swap, along with some KYC compliance, reporting, royalties, all that fun stuff. So we've got a really great team. My background, I started really my crypto journey when I joined Circle back in 2014, which feels like ages ago.
Yeah.
I think it was right around one of the first MIT crypto conferences, the Bitcoin Expo. I was like employee 25 or something, got to see all kinds of features and products launched over the course of my career there. That's really where I cut my teeth on not just like tech stacks and building products, but also, the evolution of the crypto space, and got to help, launch USDC in 2018, which is the sort of preeminent stable coin nowadays. And then, I moved on to work. I was very interested in the energy space. So I worked at a Fortune 500. But yeah, I mean, my background is primarily in technology, and I love building software and giving end users superpowers with these new capabilities. So yeah, that's what I do.
As you can tell, edX is much cooler.
Awesome. I mean, hey, you guys both bring a lot to the table. I mean, especially with NFTs. I mean, community building is a big, strong part of it. So, once again, I do appreciate you guys coming on to talk with me about Recur. Now, you go to the website and Recur tells you that you want to make NFTs accessible for people, easy to use. I guess what exactly does that mean? I know you guys use like Apple Pay, credit cards, debit cards. What makes you guys different than, I guess, other NFT minting platforms?
Yeah, I mean, we're really trying to bridge the gap between Web 2 and Web 3. I mean, this moment, I think, is really massive for the internet. And we see this evolution requiring, education, which has been kind of the name of the game in crypto for a long time, from all, regulators all the way to the retail. NFTs are no different. And so, having that sort of traditional Web 2 account that then starts introducing you to these Web 3 concepts, we think is really core to not just having a good experience, but also kind of showing that Web 3 doesn't have to necessarily be, just a web wallet and you go to a landing page and that's where you connect. And like, that's a new paradigm that is cool and I think works. But the friction points it's not gonna drive adoption. I think a lot of the limitations are due to some of those frictions. So that's kind of a philosophy that a lot of us have here, in just sort of what's the best way to introduce customers and fans to these brands.
Yeah. And you guys have, a lot of big IPs that you guys are working with. I guess mainly, are you guys, more so a minting platform, or do you guys also have a marketplace for these items as well?
Ooh, that's a really good question. So we're both. We're both. I mean, we really are delivering a holistic experience. So for us and our platform partners, and those you're seeing up on the screen, we're churning out fully delivered projects for them. But on the back end, we're utilizing a tech stack that edX can get into that's just incredible, that allows us to deliver these experiences, these frictionless experiences, and onboard anybody into the space. And the platform side of that is, there's the eventual side where, coming very, very shortly, if not in the here and now, is, we start allowing creators of all sizes to come and create the same level of project, the same on-ramps, the same experiences that are enabling us to deliver these incredible IPs to the world. Mm-hmm. So I guess the answer to that question, and edX may be able to follow it up with, even a little bit more, a little more solid with some of the tech side, but we're both, which is incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah. These brands that you see here, they have massive ideas. They've got huge content libraries, right? And they've got big ideas for how, they can push the envelope in this space. So minting obviously is super, super important and getting right. And that's why we've picked, this interoperability philosophy. We obviously mint right now on Polygon for our primary mints. But if you're interested in bringing that over to Avalanche, you can easily do that. And we know that those are scalable solutions. And that's where, there's new players coming in directly minting on Avalanche, or, getting interested in some of these other L2s. So, that's one part of it. And then the marketplace, you can kind of think we're like the genesis for these brands. And they get into, our marketplace, and they can start trading there. And then they can be brought on chain and traded on other sites. And so, having that sort of dynamic, I think, is also putting us into the realm of like an aggregator, where, we are managing these NFTs. We know where they are at all times. And like that all-time volume that you see there isn't actually representative of the entire collections volume, because it doesn't include what's on X2, Y2. It doesn't include what's on OpenSea and all these other chains. So, or marketplaces. So that is something that I'm interested in sort of demonstrating a little bit more, is how can we showcase sort of the aggregation across both chains and marketplaces. But that's just a little bit more detail on sort of the answer.
Yeah. And I was going to say, I do like that your guys' marketplace has a floor price in dollar value and not in, whatever crypto people are buying it in, because I think it does make it easier for the average everyday person to come in and look and see what it's actually worth. Whereas on OpenSea, like I'll see people that'll trade and like they might make more Ethereum, but they'll lose dollar value, and like they'll do a trade that way. And it's like, it doesn't make any sense. I like that you guys show the actual dollar value.
Yeah, it just kind of goes back to the bridging the gap between Web 2 and Web 3. There are a lot more people who think in fiat currency and know sort of what that value is, as opposed to ETH or any other coin. So that just kind of, again, goes back to like who we're trying to attract. And, relative to other projects, our price points are a bit more approachable, right? And so we do think that that's going to also drive adoption, because we're not, sort of boxing people out because of some financial the level of money that you need, or the amount of money that you need in order to participate isn't that high.
Yeah, and I guess we are going to talk about the collections here in a little bit. I did want to talk about the Recur pets, but how many in that specific Nickelodeon, like I guess the Rugrats, how many NFTs are in that collection?
Good question.
I think it's a 10,000 PFP project. With, we've introduced some challenges as this animation sort of suggests, where you can take an asset that you've purchased and you can trade it in for some slime, and that challenge is completed. And so now there's all this slime that's out there, and then you can take that slime and trade it in for a mashup, which you can get a combination of Hey Arnold and Rugrat characters, which is also one of the first times that one of these major brands has kind of gone out on a limb and been like, we're gonna test the boundaries of what these like beloved brands or these beloved cartoons, yeah, just kind of demonstrate what's possible, which I think is really fun.
Yeah, that is fun. Tommy Pickles and Arnold is something that it definitely is some nightmare fuel for sure, but it's cool like seeing the mashups of them.
Yeah, I think it was a really good example too of them coming into Web3 in a really true and honest way, right? Embracing that idea of, hey, we're going to come in, we're going to do something fun. We like the idea of, burning NFT, getting slime, making mashups, these special characters that have only ever existed here, in this Web3 world. So it was just it was a great way for them to really make an entrance as well, and for us to help execute that and really embrace the scene.
Yeah. No, yeah, it's awesome. I love seeing that. And like I said, I did want to talk to you guys about the Recur Pass before we get into all the collections that you guys have launched. I guess, what is the Recur Pass? Where do I get one, and what do I get with having one?
Yeah. Sure. Do you want to take that?
Yeah, sure. It's one of my favorites. So the Recur Pass was it was a pass that we introduced very early in Recur's journey. So it was back in December of last year. It was a 24-hour mint, and it was basically your early pass to becoming part of the Recur ecosystem. Pass holders are very near and dear to us. Mm-hmm. So as far as where you can get the pass, on our website, recurforever.com, and then you'll see, get the pass. You got buy the pass. You'll see it right there on the screen, and then you can go through. Every pass was generative, so they have a bunch of different attributes and traits, and that becomes important as a pass holder, right? We like to offer utility in the way of pass holders in many different ways. So that's taken the form of allow lists, right? We've selected different attributes from different passes that are maybe rare attributes, and those individuals have gotten allow lists to certain releases, or early access for all of our pass holders, where they get early access to the drop before the public. We also like to go above and beyond that. For NFTU, we've also done physical drops where we've dropped signed merch and basketballs and all kinds of things, or IRL events for pass holders. We just did something out at the 10 Forward Bar for individuals that were pass holders. So really and truly, the Recur passes, we've started to explore what that is and tell the public what it is, but the pass could be anything. For us, it can open up doors to any of our partners, and it can have IP above and beyond even what we've shown today, and it will continue to. So it's one of I think it's probably one of my favorite assets that we have secretly. I've never said that publicly, so there's some alpha. But yeah, I mean, the Recur pass is kind of like it's kind of a deeper way to be a part of Recur and what we're doing.
Yeah, it gets you kind of a good access to the whole entire ecosystem. Mm-hmm. Awesome. And there's 70,435. I'm assuming like you guys had a mint that was open and then you just eventually closed it at whatever number.
Yeah, it was a 24-hour mint, and then there was 10% holdback. So that 70,000 is encompassed of the number that was minted, and then there was 10% added, which is a holdback for partners and for treasury, and allows us to kind of expand what that world can look like far into the future. Right, we kind of wanted to future proof ourselves with that, and I think we've kind of done it. Yeah.
70,000, that's impressive on a mint. That is an impressive number, so congratulations to that.
It was a crazy 24 hours. Anybody who's done one of these drops knows the sort of adrenaline rush that comes with it. So it was really fun. It was our first one too. And our tech stack's just gotten a lot better since then. So it was really fun. I'm looking forward to all the different things that we're going to be doing with this. And one of our other product managers probably said it best, is like, you're never really going to know the full extent to which the pass is going to be used. And that's the beauty of, that utility, is that there's demonstration and how it can allow for, an allow list for Hello Kitty. And we did it for Care Bears and Nick as well. But there's just so much more coming that we don't even know yet. And there's just so much possibility. So I think it really is an amazing project, and is really just kind of the backbone of everything else that we're doing.
Yeah. I mean, the possibilities are infinite. You could literally add something next month, and you just never know. So that is cool. I said, I did want to talk about the different IPs that you guys hold, and how you've helped them launch. I guess we'll start off with Nickelodeon. You have Hey Arnold and Rugrats. You know, if you're a 90s kid, those are two very nostalgic shows. I guess what was that like? How, I guess I'm curious as to, one, like getting the IP to those shows, like were the creators of it very involved with the making of the NFT?
So we have a really strong relationship with Paramount.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was on that slide, but we also did a Top Gun project for their movie release. And so, you know, their content library and our team, we were thinking of all the kinds of ways that we could use that. And I think this just so happened to be, you know, it fit the sort of demographic that we see pretty often. There's a little bit of that nostalgia, which I think goes a really long way. And you know, they're introducing to us, and this isn't necessarily my side of the business too much, but they're introducing to us like their ideas and how they want to kind of expand using some of those some of that content. So more to come there, which is really exciting. So that's basically how, you know, we have the relationship with the Nickelodeon and Hey Arnold IP.
Yeah, nice. Yeah. And I guess what was the response to this NFT drop? Did it sell out instantly? Was there a big demand for this?
There was massive demand. Right? This is, I mean, you're talking Nickelodeon coming into Web3. It was every bit of as exciting and as well received as we thought it was going to be. Yeah. You know, when you're doing something like this, you know, we know how excited we are in you know, internally. And seeing these assets and getting them ready to go, and then to see the public grab hold of it, and I mean this minted out incredibly quickly, and then, you know, once we introduced Slime, that challenge minted out incredibly quickly, and then, you know, mashups and just to see people changing their PFPs, and, you know, not only, you know, our marketplace going wild, but then also trending #1 on OpenSea. It was just such a testament to the power of this IP, and also the power of, I think, doing it in a way to truly honor the brand, and being respectful of that, and paying it justice. And it's been so incredible to watch.
Yeah. And, you know, once, I guess the mashups are complete, do you guys have any alpha on any more Nickelodeon drops in the future?
Ooh.
Stay tuned, as we said.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Yeah. Yeah, that's all I'll say there. And I think, you know, one of the cool things about the Nick drop was, I think we introduced, you know, what we were doing at NFT NYC back in June. So there's a little bit of a prelude to the drop. And I think that got people going, oh, wait, what's Recur up to? What is Nickelodeon up to? I've never really seen this style where there's some of the most recognizable faces showing up on some of these marketplaces, which I think was just kind of a cool way that we introduced it. And we do look forward to doing more of that kind of, you know, IRL type stuff to promote some of these projects, so that it really has that tangibility feel like, wow, I'm immersed inside of the Nickelodeon experience.
Yeah. And do you guys plan on having, I guess, any IRL utility with the Nickelodeon NFTs?
I think that's a good answer to kind of parallel our Recur pass, right? You know, anything is possible. We're not a company to take anything off the table. We're also one where, you know, we're going to continue to honor the relationship with Paramount and Nickelodeon, and explore what does that look like for them as well, right? And building it alongside of them, and how does that play into, you know, possible IRL events, or, you know, anything. The world is kind of, now that Nickelodeon has entered the ecosystem, the world's open.
And you can kind of think of it like, you know, when I remember watching cartoons, you don't know what's on the next episode, right? It's sort of this like, you know, beautiful mystery, and you're excited because you like the characters. And I think we're starting to see, at least with the way that Recur is launching these things, that's the style of production, right? Is you don't know what's upcoming, and you can get excited about the possibility in the same way that you don't know the full narrative of a given cartoon series, or, you know, given storyline. And like, that's also sort of my high level, I guess, that's what I find so interesting about the NFT space is, you are starting to see sort of the entertainment side of things get sort of cracked open a bit, and the community can maybe start participating in narrative development and making some of those creative choices collectively, which I think is pretty cool and a really cool possibility.
Yeah. I mean, you guys, I think, are definitely a massive bridge between the Web 2 and Web 3 world, because I think I would say, other than like the VV app, the app on the iPhone, like, you guys are bringing, you're showing that NFTs work. And I'm sure Nickelodeon saw that, the sellout of the Hey Arnold and Rugrats collection. They're probably like, dude, like, let's get Fairly Odd Parents in there. Like, let's just, let's get this rolling. And yeah, I'm excited to see what comes in the future from this. And the reason why I did bring up, I guess, the IRL utility is because something really cool you guys did was with Top Gun Maverick. The fact that people could go to the movie and they would get a ticket to then claim an NFT. How did that work? And did a lot of people claim that NFT?
Tons of people claim that NFT. Tons of people. Right. That was another, for us, it was an incredible thing to do with Paramount, and to really act as an on-ramp into Web3, right? It's at that point, it's very low stake for the individual who's, coming in, and for them to dip a toe and to see what it can be. Mm-hmm. And it was also a great play for our community, and something that showed something really interesting. Not only could they go, and we saw so many of our community say, "Oh, I'm going to go see the movie right away. I'm going to see it right away, and get my helmet." There was also pass holder utility built into that. There was specialty helmets that you could only claim if you had participated in Star Trek previously and was a pass holder, and then you were airdropped the Zalaris helmet, which was a kind of a cross collab helmet that you couldn't have gotten any other way. So it was a really fun, I think it was a really fun project for us. It kind of showed that, hey, we can onboard the public. We can do something like this that brings nostalgia to something that's current in the here and now, right? Mm-hmm. That movie was blowing up everywhere, and now they could take home a piece of it, and carry it with them wherever they wanted. If they wanted to make it the background on their phone, if they wanted to have it in their wallet and have it as a piece of history, if they want to open it up 10 years from now and take a look and go, I remember when I went to that movie and I saw this, right? That's a piece of collectible, digital collectible. It's not going anywhere. That's with them for as long as they want to have it. And above and beyond that, it allowed our community to really engage, and further deepen their experience with the brand, to say, hey, I participated in Star Trek, and now I went to go see Maverick, and now I get this Zalaris helmet that people only got if I did those two. It just turned into a really fun project for us.
I mean, I love the connection of the IRL events to NFTs. Do you guys have any more plans in the future? Any alpha you can leak on another time you're going to do this with IRL events?
You could probably, read between the lines. A partnership with Paramount gives us a lot of latitude in what we can do there. So, that's what I'll say. But for me, it makes me recall like getting movie posters when, you first attended a premiere, and, you can go on eBay now and you can find those relic movie posters of some of your favorite films. And so that's how I see this Top Gun project. And the movie was great. And so, it just kind of was a best of both worlds. And, from an introductory standpoint to Web3, you can imagine the attendees of those movies, weren't necessarily millennials. They were older folks too. And so they were getting their first taste of what NFTs could look like through this medium, which I was really sort of pleased with the results, to see some of the older demographics showing up and redeeming, because I think that also just proves that there's demand for this. People are very intrigued and interested, no matter what age, and no matter sort of where you sit on the technical ability sort of aisle. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I think what was cool too, to Edix's point, was this was a real showing of what does it look like when you remove that nameplate of an NFT, right? Mm-hmm. If somebody was just getting this and it was something they could claim and they could have, and to them it was this digital collectible, but they weren't caught up in this, the signal of, oh, this is NFT, which means I have to have this high barrier to entry. This was a really good example where if we just told them, hey, you get to claim, this new digital collectible that you can have with you for this IRL event that you went to. And don't worry about wallets. Don't worry about, any of that. Plug in your code on the website and now you have it. It was great to see what that meant for users and the demographic that was now participating.
Yeah. Yeah, it's awesome. I would love to see something like this with like concerts. A lot of people, they hold on to their ticket stub from a concert, but imagine you go to, I don't know, any type of concert, you get like a guitar like collectible from that concert or something like that. And then, to my next point, imagine you go to a football game or something like that, because you guys do have NFTU, which is the next thing I want to segue into and talk about. Yeah, a lot of people, collect those ticket stubs, whether they go to a bowl game or just a conference rival game. They like to collect those ticket stubs. I think it'd be cool if they could go and then maybe get some memorabilia, digital collectible from that event. But with NFTU, I guess, what are you guys doing with this?
Well, first of all, I just want to kind of plug. I was at the Patriots Raiders game, the Tuck Rule game, and I still have the ticket from when I was a kid. So like that, it's near and dear to me. And I've gone to many concerts that I still have the tickets of. So like I definitely fit into this group. I think with NFTU, we launched right around March Madness, and there was just sort of like a bunch of momentum. And I also went to some of the Final Four games because I was, a big fan, and it was just like a blast. But I think we caught the wave where, we introduced the challenges sort of in this IP, and I think that caught the attention of a lot of folks being like, wait, this isn't just sort of what has already been done in the sports collectible space, but it was something new. And in fact, we're getting kind of copied now, which is a huge, very, very flattering, that other projects are starting to look at ours as kind of setting a precedent for what it means to introduce supply and then create these challenges that can affect that supply and cause, some economic changes. So this was a really fun project. One other thing that's kind of unique about it is, the rights holders of these assets it's much more complicated than just, having a relationship with Paramount, and the royalty, being split between us and Paramount. It's, between the athlete, it's between the individual who photographed the athlete or made the video, it's with the school. And so I think that really speaks to the power of what's kind of possible with sort of the royalty business model. And, the tracking and the reporting, like a lot of that just from a business operations standpoint, is something that I think a lot of businesses are trying to figure out right now too. We're getting asked a lot of questions like, how do you do cross-chain reporting across all of these royalties that end up, needing to go back to John Morant or Paul Pierce or some of these athletes. So that's kind of a unique detail with this project, just given the complexity of the royalties.
Yeah. And do you guys work with, I guess, current college athletes, or is it athletes that were, in college and then now they're in professional or retired?
I think it's a mix. Yeah, it's a mix.
And I guess my question is, do you guys work alongside the NCAA? Because I know they're notorious for wanting their players to live off bread and water and, ramen noodles. Like they're not really too big into players getting paid. I guess, how does it work with them?
So we're not affiliated at all with the NCAA, but we have, we have great relationships with the schools. I think we have exclusive relationships with a lot of these schools. So we are the only NFT platform that can show some of these school logos and tie the asset that has Nate Robinson to Washington. So that's a really unique piece. But yeah, from a NCAA standpoint, we're not affiliated. The NIL ruling. Yeah, I mean, it's making it more interesting for college athletes who have historically been sort of squeezed out of monetary rewards, and it's just made it more interesting. And we're starting to see that business model adjust and flex. And I think there's still some things that need to be figured out. But college athletes who are successful in school can continue playing. There maybe isn't as much of an incentive to go pro because you now have this new revenue stream that you didn't have before. And I think there's one college athlete that Baycott for UNC. I think because of the type of season he had at the end of the season, I don't know if you remember him playing. He was just a beast, rebounding and like having an excellent Final Four series. He, instead of going professional, he chose to stick around for another year. And whether the NIL ruling sort of contributed to that is maybe in question. But I think it's a testament to the success of these types of programs and the other revenue streams that are available to those athletes. So some interesting stuff happening there.
Yeah. And I guess, I looked at the marketplace and noticed that, obviously you don't have every team. I guess, how do you go about, selecting what teams, how do you approach the school and ask them for the rights to use this?
I'm not on the licensing side of the business too much, but, we've got a great team who's reaching out to build our network and build our relationships. I think with football coming up, you could imagine that there's new relationships that are going to get formed. People are really interested in more challenges in these tickets that have been made available in the marketplace. And so, I think, we've got some cool stuff ahead, and we've got some big names in football. I think, basketball is a great sport. It's got a lot of popularity, but college football is where it's at. Yeah. And I think it's got just like a wider audience. It goes for me culturally much deeper, but that's maybe arguable. But yeah, so I think there's some more stuff coming on the way that's going to be really exciting, and just kind of tapping into more familiar faces and more gameplay. That's going to be really fun.
Yeah. And I think to that point too, it's, like Edix said, it's about building relationships. We want to tell their story authentically. So we're building a relationship with these colleges to not just say, okay, well, we're just going to do basketball or we're just going to do football. We're building a relationship with these colleges to tell their most authentic story and give, their fans, right? Like, your affinity to your alma mater. Sometimes it's just wild, right? You've got alumni tags all over the place on everyone's car and shirts and hats, and there's a whole lot of Michigan swag running around our company. But the NFTU gives them the opportunity to tell that story across multiple different sports. Memorabilia, you saw helmets that were popping up, footballs, all kinds of different things. So building that relationship with them and exploring that with NFTU is really important to us. We have an incredible team that does that.
Yeah. And we mentioned it briefly, I guess, the game, cause you're not just collecting, there is like there's a different aspect to it where you're kind of playing a game in the collecting. I guess, how does that work? Yeah.
So the game is really interesting. So we issue challenges, right? So these challenges go up, and then in those challenges, there'll be different conditions. And they vary from every single challenge, right? We have a theme with those. We have an incredible team that builds all of that. That challenge goes up, and then you have to either use players or NFTs from NFTU that kind of fit the mold of that challenge, and then enter those, burn those, and then in return you get a reward, whatever the reward is for that challenge. Which sometimes it's a mystery. Most of the time we tell you what it is. There's always a little layer of mystery. There's a couple of different options of maybe what you'll get. Complete this challenge. Once it's completed, you get a certain percentage of maybe getting a John Morant or somebody else who at that point is really, really sought after. But there's layers to an onion with this, because it's not just your normal, like, okay, click here, you've completed a challenge, there you go. These challenges, as they go, they change the whole landscape of NFTU, right? Because you're burning players, sometimes some that may be rare because that's what you have in your wallet. Or maybe you go to the marketplace and scoop up a couple others. And somebody that may have not been as rare as others or valued as high, if people go and sweep the floor and they burn that player for a challenge and that challenge gets completed, all of a sudden the marketplace, there may not be many left of that player, and all of a sudden their status and their rarity in the ecosystem goes up.
Yeah.
So it's, you know, the NFT landscape will continue to change as we have this gameplay. So it's kind of a two-part, right? It's the fun of the challenges, but then also the opposite side of, what do I do? What do I hold? What do I burn? What's going to be for the next challenge? If I do this, how does that affect, you know, my wallet and everyone else's wallet? So the gameplay has a huge effect on NFT.
Yeah. Awesome. That's definitely a great idea. I love it. Moving on, I did want to talk about Care Bears because Care Bears are already kind of in the Web3 space. They do have like a Sandbox thing going on. And I did want to ask, I guess, you know, is there any planned interoperability with what they got going on in the Sandbox and then with your guys' collection?
Can't say, but
do we go back to our favorite stay tuned? I don't know.
I mean, I think it's very interesting that a brand that, you know, I remember growing up as a kid, and I haven't really heard about in a while until, you know, I joined Recur and we were like, oh, we're going to do this project, is starting to kind of reinvent itself a little bit with some of this content. And that's what I also think is like the power of this space, is that it's giving brands new ways to connect and new ways to reinvent themselves. And like that's amazing. That's amazing that you can sort of take something that is, you know, decades old and present it in a new light and give it new life. And that's, I've been very tickled by this like super cute world. And this was a really, really fun project to work on.
Yeah, the Web3 space has brought back, I mean, there's Atari that's in Sandbox. I've seen Radio Shack tweeting about NFTs and like a marketplace, like, you know.
Yeah, what's old is new again.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think that's a testament to the technology. I think that's a testament to the audience. I think, you know, people are very hungry. You know, brands are very hungry to engage. I think there's been, you know, sort of fundamentally issues with the way that content has been shared online, and they're looking to break that model and either creatively adjust their content to you know, bring to the world this vision or this new you know, sort of you know, fictional world that they've created, or to also change up the business model. And I think, you know, if you've been around sort of internet companies long enough, you know, costs get driven down to zero. It's a race to the bottom. Like that's historically how it's worked. So I think it's bringing new life, and it's asking a lot of really, really cool questions that these brands are very, very engaged with. I can't even describe to you the amount of demand that we're getting from new brands coming in who are like, how do we do X, Y, Z? And it's like, okay, well, basically putting us into the position of, you know, a new Netflix. Like there's a whole new channel for content to be distributed. And I think that model is only going to grow and only going to strengthen.
Yeah, it's extending the story, right? There was a story that was told for years and years for Care Bears or for any of our IPs, but I think Care Bears in particular, right? And there was a box for that, right? It was movie and TV, and now all of a sudden, the idea of Web3 and NFTs, you can extend that story or tell a whole new story, or, you know, it's really up to, you know, people like Cloudco to say, hey, this is Care Bears here and now, right? Mm-hmm. This is that next step. This is what we want to explore, and then allow that to branch off from there. So I think, you know, what you're seeing on the screen with Care Bears was a really good step towards that, into that next evolution of that brand.
Yeah, and when you do go to the Care Bear marketplace, you are able to filter it. And I noticed that there was a filter for exclusive Care Bear, but when I clicked it, nothing came up. What's an exclusive Care Bear?
So the exclusive Care Bears were our one of 8. So we did an OpenSea auction when Care Bears was first going live. Yeah, and those bears were specialty bears. You can still find them on OpenSea. They live there for now. Some of them were revealed as to what they were. Some are question marks. So there's still some exclusivity there. And again, we're with Cloudco. We're really able to explore that next iteration of Care Bears. I guess is the closest I can get to talking about that and what that looks like, which will continue to play out. Right, Care Bears just had its release. we're not done with that.
Yeah.
You know, challenges are still coming, new things are still coming that were planned, right? You can read about those on the site. The exclusive bears were a really fun thing that we did with that OpenSea auction, and it was a great way to kick off this release. But it's also kind of a hint as to what else is coming.
Yeah. And then, you know, the other thing that when you filter it, you can see that there's a care chest. And I know you guys said that we were going to be able to open up a care chest on stream today, so we can see what comes. Because that was my question. I have it written down. So what comes in a care chest? So I'm curious to see this thing get opened.
Should I open one?
Yeah,
let's do it.
All right, let me pop one open. So let's see. How do I
Glad you get to see this.
share a tab? Okay, so let's see. Can you guys see my tab here? I've got the marketplace open.
Yep.
Yeah, we got you.
So I've been collecting friend bears. Tickled my fancy as I was going through here, but I got a care chest. And you know, you've got all these options once you are the owner. You know, I could put it for sale, which, you know, sort of gives me the ability to sell something that has the element of surprise, and it could have, you know, something amazing. And nobody in the company knows, you know, what's exactly inside of these. So, you know, let's go ahead and open it. And this is our pack opening experience. I hope I get a friend there. Oh, good luck, Bear. Okay, not too shabby.
Not too shabby.
I'm a huge Celtics fan, so that one will definitely sit next to my Larry Bird and Robert Parrish, if any of you old school heads know who those guys are. Yeah, so that's what we're presenting, and I think there's a lot of cool. You know, we've got some great animators, we've got some really amazing creative minds, and you know, that's just one example of like how we're introducing an NFT to somebody, which you know is kind of like, you know, and you know, one of those e-cards, or it's one of those sort of moments you don't know exactly what's inside, you know, the loot box sort of experience. So it's really amazing that we've built this and we've designed it in such a way that every brand that comes on board can have their own special, you know, pack opening experience, and it's only going to get better from there. I think we've got a number of ideas on how to make, you know, that feel a little bit more visceral, and there's just like all kinds of cool stuff that we can do here. So yeah, I'm glad I was able to share that with you guys.
Yeah, and I love that you guys do the pack opening experience, and the fact that you can sell the unopened pack, because, you know, with collectibles and collecting things, a lot of people do collect sealed product, and you know, you hold on to one of those care chests for 5-10 years, you know, wherever Recur and the collection goes, someone might be like, dude, this is a Genesis Care Bear care chest. Like, I want to open this up, and the price, you know, could be who knows how much. So I love that you guys do that.
Yeah, we wanted to preserve that. We wanted to preserve that. You know, that's part of, I'm a collector from way back in the day too. I still have sealed packs of, you know, trading cards I have a pack from when I was born that my family gave me, and I still have it. You know, a pack of baseball cards. My wife is really big into collecting, and we've got a ton of merch that's open and a ton more that's not, and we don't know what it is. And that's half the fun of just looking over and go, man, I really wonder what's in that thing. And like Edix says, we truly don't know. Everything is 100%, you know, it's random, right? We don't know what's in that chest. Even if Edix has the serial number for that chest, I'm not going to be able to tell you, hey, this is what's in it, right? That's part of the fun. It's part of the fun for us as well.
Awesome. I love it. And then moving on to well, you do have a collection that is coming out that we will talk about, but the last collection that you guys have released is with Star Trek. You know, you guys are I guess what stage of the roadmap in the Star Trek collection are we at?
We are at the stage where we've asked the community what, you know, gave them some options to sort of pick from. And we've got a few things in the works to increase the gameplay. And yeah, I mean, we've got maybe another season like we're looking at in the future. And there's a lot of sort of pent up energy around Star Trek. This was something that we released back in April. It's a huge library. There's so much that we can do with it. And I think, these are also 3D models. So you can imagine, what would be potentially possible if the 3D model was, more tangible in the way that it's represented right now as a 2D model. Could there be future possibility there? So we're at a stage now where we have the ideas that we want. We know where we're going to go, and we're just starting to execute. It's a nature of our business is we're running a lot of these things in parallel, right? And I think it's a testament to the tech. It's a testament to the team that every time we launch a new brand, we're adding to our plate the utility, we're adding to our plate the roadmap, and so we're learning every single day. How do we keep sort of live operating on some of these sites to make sure that the gameplay continues? There's more things in the future. There's more engagement opportunities for fans. So it's a big challenge, but it's a really, really fun problem to solve.
Yeah, and I was gonna ask, I guess, how do the missions in this work? Because there's like 6 different classes of ship that you can get, and then you have to get a crew for that ship, and then you take that crew and that ship on different missions. I guess, what do you get from completing the missions?
It's a good question. I don't actually know the game mechanics too much for Star Trek. I don't know, Matt, you know some details that you could share.
I can't spell alpha. That's kind of the next endeavor, right? That's the next endeavor. The first endeavor was, hey, get your ship. And then we were a little clear about, ship holders will also get a crew member, and then you'll have to have crew, and, making this more of a collaborative style of gameplay. But that, as we go further into it, that's when things like the gameplay will be shown off. And right now, right now you've collected your ship, and the next step is start really digging into that ecosystem. But I think being the community, I have to give the shout out, the one shout out to say, I'll give a million, but this one shout out saying, as a company with Star Trek, we took a major brand and a large NFT collection, and we were at a crossroads saying, okay, we can go one of 2 ways now, right? There was 2 incredibly good options. And instead of us saying internally, or, with our partners saying, hey, we're just going to go ahead and make the decision, we think this is the best, we gave the community the option to vote. We actually put the next steps for Star Trek in their hands and allowed the community to vote on what the next step was. And our, gaming department and engineering and everybody was ready to say, okay, we can execute on either one of these. Let the community decide where their experience is going to go. And I think that's a big testament to what does Web3 look like for a brand, that you can come in authentically, and you can the community can truly have an impact on what is the story that's told. And that vote will forever change the landscape of what this project looks like. Right. Yeah. It was a huge vote to change, what supply looked like and what was going to happen next. And, people can look back and from 5-10 years and say, hey, I impacted this, right? I remember when we voted on this as a community of holders and individuals, and we changed the trajectory of this whole project. And that's so cool as a guy who's all about community.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that is one of the big things with Web3 is how close you actually are with the people that are developing the product, because, I'm a Call of Duty player, and like you could sit there and beg and ask for something to be put in the game for months, and they're going to be like, nah, here's a skin that is a dog, and like, just buy this and shut up. And yeah, they don't really care. It seems like they don't care much about the community. Whereas in these Web3 space area, you are more connected, and yeah, you get a chance to vote on stuff like that. So it's really cool that you guys did that.
I mean, this is changing the playing field. And I think there are, AAA game studios out there who are going, oh, dang, we got to figure out how to compete now and respond to these community demands. Well, not demands, but suggestions and like input. And like, there's a little bit more of a collaborative spirit. And maybe that requires games to take longer, or, there are new dynamics that arise. But I really like how it's sort of challenging the status quo. That's what crypto in its essence is doing. And like, that's why I've been so attracted to it, is because it really is challenging the norms. That's like such good energy in my opinion.
Yeah. And to the idea of, like you said, they introduce dogs or whatever, and you may have been asking for something completely different. Is it the case that they didn't care, or is it the case that they didn't necessarily have that open communication or narrative with their player base, or at least in the authentic way that you can when you release NFTs or you release ownership of assets to your project, like we're doing in Web3 right now? Is it just an enablement thing, right? Is that ability to ask for skins going to look something completely different if those games are powered by assets that you truly own, right? And you get a stake into the, hey, what's next? What do the players really want? And they get a really good look into what does everybody want based on what they're collecting and what they're pairing up with their games. So I think we're just dipping a toe into giving these partners as well. We look at the collector and saying, hey, you're getting so much more. Now you're really being able to be part of the journey. But there's the other side of that coin of saying, hey, partner, you're getting to get a lot closer with your customers and open up a line of communication that you never had before.
Yeah.
And that's just as exciting, I think.
Mm-hmm. And, we are coming up to the top of the hour here where we usually end the show. But I did want to talk about your guys' last collection that is going to be releasing soon is the Hello Kitty collection. I guess, I tried to click on the Hello Kitty on the website and it wouldn't let me. So I couldn't get a whole lot of information on it. So I just got to ask you guys, what is this going to look like? What are you guys doing with Hello Kitty? And what's going to happen on August 24th?
The world is going to change. Yeah. So Hello Kitty is definitely coming to Web3. Part of me can't believe I'm saying those words. I mean, that's so exciting, right? We're talking about iconic IPs. When you say Hello Kitty, it's hard to beat that. And this is a truly global IP. I think one thing to note is, when you're reading that screen, what's flashing, it says Hello Kitty and friends. We're bringing that ecosystem to Web3. So it'll be a 10K collection. The dates are up on the screen. There for those Recur pass holders. Again, there will be utility for them and how they mint and having early minting access. So that pre-sale that you're seeing up there. But yeah, I mean, you're gonna get to meet Hello Kitty or Kitty White, as her name is, and all of her friends. And there's this homage to that airport in all of the branding that you're seeing, and that's really important to the story that we're going to be telling. And I'm really excited for everyone to get to participate.
Yeah, we have a blog to describe this narrative a little bit more in detail. And so, that jet setting experience, that theme is being described in the blog. So if you go to blog.hellokittyfriends.xyz, you can follow along, read up on what to expect. Where's Hello Kitty and friends going to go? Like all that fun stuff. And we've got some really cool new game mechanics that I think are going to just blow people away. I think they're going to be absolutely floored with the types of stuff that we're doing here. And in the same way, I'm not going to hype it up too much, but we released challenges. We weren't really well known at the time for doing some of this stuff. I think we've got another feature set that's again, just going to kind of crack open people's imagination and be like, wait, I can do this using the Recur platform. That's going to be really, really exciting to use. So very much looking forward to everybody enjoying that because it's going to be really fun.
Yeah. And I think, as far as the other projects we talked about today, I would say are predominantly, American-based projects where Hello Kitty is, like you said, it's a huge IP. Like it's really, Hello Kitty is really big in Asia. I mean, it's big all over the world. So I think the demand for this is going to be crazy.
Yeah, it's going to be massive.
Awesome.
Absolutely massive.
Well, I do appreciate you guys coming on the show today. Thank
Sharp.
you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I could have kept going. We could probably make this like a 2-hour show, but I don't want to take up too much of your guys' time. I want to thank everyone for watching the stream. Where should everyone that's watching, go to get information about Recur?
They can always go to our website, recurforever.com. And then if they want to know about any of our branded experiences, they can find all the links to those right through our website as well. But yeah, especially if you want to know about Recur, right there is the best place to go. And there's also a partner area for those that were listening and said, hey, there's some incredible things that I just thought of, and I could build incredible things on the Recur platform. Please feel free to jump to that partner area as well, fill it out, and we're always looking to explore. We're always looking to explore and onboard new brands, new consumers, new people to Recur.
And I'll shamelessly plug the community for Matt on his behalf. But we've got an incredible community. Our Discord is extremely active. We've got all kinds of events, all kinds of stuff happening in there. And so if you want to get a real taste of these conversations and these comments and seeing, decisions being made and new announcements, like that's as bleeding edge as you can get to what's happening. So definitely join the Discord if you're eager to learn more.
And it's a vanity link, discord.gg/recur. It's going to drop you right in. Come say hi. You can hang out all the time. My name on there is Dadbod. Chill with me all day long.
I love it. Make sure you guys join the Discord. Thank you guys very much for watching the show today. I do appreciate it. We will be live again tomorrow at the same exact time. And once again, thank you guys for coming on. I do appreciate it.
Thanks, Sharp. Keep it up.
You.